Welcome back to Bearing It All with Rose and Crystal. Today we have Dr. MJ, an award-winning exercise and nutrition coach and a meditation teacher dedicated to supporting overwhelmed mothers. She helps women start exercising, enjoy lifelong nutrition and develop deep health through her 5 pillars: menstrual cycle awareness, simple exercise, joyful nutrition, stress management, and rest and relaxation. As a mother of 3, Dr. MJ has over a decade of experience in research and coaching, passionately supporting pregnant and postpartum women with evidence-based advice and personal insights. On a personal note, Dr. MJ balances motherhood with self-care, healing generational trauma, and achieving rockstar confidence. She's here to share her journey from feeling overwhelmed to making empowered health choices as a woman of colour. Dr. MJ encourages putting health before the hustle because we only have one life and one body. Welcome, Dr. MJ.
Hello, everybody. Holy
Hey.
schmoly. So excited to be on the podcast today.
We're so excited. Thanks for coming in. Oh, let's get this party started.
I know, right?
It's a late one tonight, right? We've left the kids. We've made the dinners. Well, I actually didn't make anything because I'm lazy. But you cooked dinner.
I did. I was like, I better feed these people before I leave.
And more importantly, what did you cook? Because that's a thing of mine. I love knowing what other people eat for dinner.
Ooh, so I made this like pork curry thingy with lots of veggies in there. I'm Asian, like Chinese Asian. Some
Yep.
people think I'm Korean or Japanese, or I'm Chinese. So I eat everything.
Okay. We'll get to that later.
So I made a pork curry and then like a miso soup thing because my daughter
stop.
likes miso soup. And then we always have rice. So yeah, that's
That's a staple.
Yes.
yeah, that's our thing. Even though people say like, oh, don't eat white rice because it's like high GI, blah blah blah. I'm like, can't help it.
It's like saying don't eat pasta if you're Italian, please. And excuse me, washing rice. How important is washing your rice? Can we get that before we start into the nitty gritty? I've heard it's very important.
Wait, do you wash rice?
I do wash rice.
Okay.
There's only one rice that I don't wash, which is this Thai purple rice thing. You're not supposed to wash that because all the goodie is on that purple colored thing. It's not actual purple color. It's actually like this mineral thing that's on top of the rice. That's the only rice I don't wash. Every other rice I will wash until...
Do you wash multiple times till the water's clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
3 times at least.
Yeah.
Because there's stuff on it that you probably don't want to ingest.
There we go, guys. Wash your rice.
Yes. Wash your
And
rice.
well, my husband's Indian, right? So his parents wash rice and they reckon it comes out fluffier the more you wash it.
It does. Also, if you soak it for a little bit, it will be like
Fluffy.
Guys, you can't say that we don't give you all the tips here, all right? I'm like, Dr. MJ is actually here for other reasons, but point number 1 that she's given us, she has confirmed wash your rice until it runs clear.
Exactly. And please don't measure water. All you need is your finger to know how much water to put in to cook the rice. So,
Oh.
Okay, which finger?
So you know your index finger. I mean, if you're listening, your index finger.
Yeah.
You know how we have all these lines on our fingers?
Yes.
Index finger, the first line from your fingertip.
That has to be above the rice.
Above
The rice. That is how you measure water, not by like the cups and like
How many cups of rice to how many things of
no,
water?
just use your finger and that first cut of that line. Place that your nails on the surface of the rice, and then the water level
On
needs
the
to be
just above to the rice.
just to the rice.
See, I would think that wasn't enough water.
No, that will be perfect rice.
Oh.
Oh my God, I feel like this is it. I'm learning things.
She's a doctor.
I mean, that's why you're a doctor. She has a PhD, guys. It's not in rice cooking, but
Oh, but I am training for MasterChef, so
Are you?
Stop.
Dr. MJ.
Wait, guys, that was announced here first.
yes, it
You
was.
heard it here before. She's famous out there in the world of the TV world. She's been on Bearing It All with Rose and Crystal.
Yes, I have.
Okay. What is your PhD in? Come on, let's get to that.
All right, let's get to that. My PhD is actually in exercise and pregnancy and gestational diabetes. And a lot of people are like, share their PhD results and they'll be so happy about it. But I spent 4.5 years of my life collecting information and data and training pregnant women all around Perth. And then the results came out. Yeah. And my exercise program didn't help. So yeah.
Oh, wait, your program didn't help
help. Okay,
gestational.
so
got you. Okay.
Didn't help prevent the condition from reoccurring. So we were
Yes.
trying to prevent a reoccurrence. So I was fighting a lot of battles up a lot of hills, like trying to go up a lot of hills, trying to fix that issue with my exercise program. Eventually, like at the end, because what I ran was a randomized controlled trial. So we have two groups. One group got the exercise and one group didn't. And at the end of it, when we eventually tested all of them for gestational diabetes, it was the same amount of people in both groups that got it.
Oh.
So essentially means...
Wait, this is mice though.
No, human beings.
Oh, human.
Can you imagine mice on a bicycle?
I swear, I'm losing it. I was like, she didn't just say mice, but she did.
I thought you said you read it on just to mice. I'm actually.
Hang on, I need to put on my Australian accent so you can understand.
I thought you said two groups of mice.
But they were pregnant mice.
They are pregnant mice.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, holy shit, pregnant mice. And they had gestational diabetes.
They were just running on their wheel.
Oh my God. Okay, so they were human. These were run on human beings.
Yeah. Did you also hear me say mice?
No, but that's why I nearly died. I nearly had a heart attack. She's still trying.
I swear I heard mice.
But there you go. So it goes to show that you basically can't prevent it. If your predisposition to having gestational diabetes during your pregnancy, that's got nothing to do necessarily with being fitter or healthier necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, these women already had it, so they have a high chance of getting it anyway. So we're trying to use exercise to prevent it from happening again. But I think there's some other thing to the equation that we haven't really touched.
Yeah. But I just love that you admitted you're like, my exercise program didn't help.
No. Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of authenticity as well, and being honest and raw. And that's actually why we love you, because you know what? Like, that's the whole reason for doing things like this, is to work it out, and trial and error, and failure actually helps you learn.
Yeah. And there's this thing in research that we say, like when you have a negative outcome, it is still
a positive
one, because you learn, okay, so this doesn't work. So what else is going to work? Then you got to think about it even further and then keep going. Yeah.
So did you do your PhD in Australia?
Yes. At UWA. So that was where I was for like majority of my time in Australia.
Yeah. Okay. So you were born in Singapore and raised in Singapore, and you came to Australia when you were 19.
Yeah, correct.
That's huge.
Yeah, it was an adventure, I think. Yeah. But
did you come here with a partner?
No, I came here all by myself. A lot of people like to say that I'm like a lone wolf. I like to do things by myself a lot.
Yeah.
Because I'm also an introvert. So when I'm around too many people, it actually kind of drains me quite often. But I didn't know that when I was young. But right now I do know that that's just my thing. Yeah. So, but I came here all by myself. I did a bachelor in exercise science, and then I went on to do my honours. And went out to work for a little bit because I was trying to get the scholarship to do my PhD, and I failed 3 times. But the final one, they offered it to me. That's after 3 years. So I was working with that. And eventually I got the scholarship, and then I started my PhD. And that's another story that we're going to talk about.
But when you came to Australia from Singapore, when you first arrived here, what did you think? Like, what did you think of like the Aussie culture and just in general?
Well, so I came from Singapore, and Singapore is like known for this, like being this highly efficient country. Everything goes really fast. Everyone's quite grumpy. Nobody says hi. Everyone's just like, objective is to get things done. Yep. So when I first came here, I'm calling up like immigration to try and get my student visa sorted out. I'm like, I had to wait 3 days to get someone to call me back. In Singapore, it's like if you want something done within like half an hour, someone's going to call you back. So that adjustment was very like being patient. And everybody's working in their own time. Like, just take it easy here. Yeah. But when you first come here, you're like, oh, shit. Damn, people, can you work a little bit faster?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they work at a snail pace.
Yeah.
Very chill and
I've learned that it's even slower in WA. If you're over east, it might be faster. Is that right? Is it,
WA has still got a big country town vibe, I feel. It's still a lot more relaxed in a lot of ways. I feel like up until 10, 15 years ago, we still didn't no shops opened on a Sunday in WA.
I remember that.
And people go, oh my God, what did you do with your lives? A lot.
But even like the 24-hour supermarkets, like to be honest, we don't really, we still only have like a few, right?
Yes.
But in Sydney and Melbourne, they're all 24 hours. Like what the heck? That's weird to me.
It is weird.
But
It's
also
still
like
weird.
we whinge about being on the freeway for 45 minutes and people like, I took 3 hours to get to work in Sydney.
Oh my God.
So
It's
we're
like,
not used to that.
no.
We think that's huge and we waste time. I think in WA we have we have beautiful weather and more solid weather throughout the year. So when we opened the shops on a Sunday, to me, it was a novelty at first, but most of us don't give a shit. Because on a Sunday, it was very community, family orientated.
Yeah.
We went out and did things.
Yeah.
And so, we are a lot slower than, like, I reckon even the eastern states in that way. So you came straight from Singapore to Perth?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Because there was the sports science degree at that point was like really popular to come to W. It's either we went to the UK, which I couldn't afford, or we came to Perth.
I'm pretty sure my husband did sports science.
My brother and sister-in-law are both exercise physiologists.
See?
Yeah.
And I think being in Perth as well is the best place to be active because, like you said, the weather here is amazing. And so, I came here. That was the thing that I was trying to get used to, people working at a pace that I wasn't used to. But right now, I'm fully 100% West Australian pace.
Oh, I love that.
And I love that.
Okay, so I actually met you and saw you for the very first time at an event that I emceed at, and you were one of the speakers, and Crystal was there as well. And you, look, I'm just going to call it, you were my favourite speaker. You really captivated me. I really didn't feel like, I don't know how long this, I think your speech was only like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
It wasn't enough for me. I was like, tell me more. Tell me more of your story. There were so many points where I was like, I want to know about Dr. MJ.
At the end of the night, me and Rose like came together to like chat about the night, and we're like both went to each other. Oh, we're going to ask her. Yeah, we're going to ask her. Like she's going to be on the potty. Straight away, we just we loved your vibe. Like you were so funny and just
honest and just what you saw. Well, what you see is what you get, and I still feel like that.
Yeah.
This is our second like proper meeting, and it just feels so comfortable. But one of the things that really got me when you were speaking, it really sucker punched me, is you said when I was growing up, and you talked about your generational trauma that you didn't know you had, but now you do, and you're working through it. Is that you didn't have a lot of joyful moments, or can't remember a lot of joyful moments in your childhood. And it broke my heart and intrigued me. And I really want to know like why and how it's impacted you now having your own kids. You're a mother of 3.
Yeah.
But that really got me. And I know it got Crystal as well, is you're not finding the joy in your childhood or remembering it, and how it's affected you now with your kids. Like you've got 3 kids of your own and working through it. Like we want to know a little bit more about that.
Ooh, okay. So about my childhood, I think I really started looking into all of this like generational trauma kind of stuff probably back in 2018. Like I got quite sick when I was in Singapore, visiting Singapore with my kids. I had only 2 kids back then. And I had this issue with my gut. I was bleeding into it. And then I also had all these blood rashes on my body. And I kind of just was really sick, and like it really stopped me from doing the work. I was running a exercise group fitness group for mothers where I lived at that time, and I was just hustling all the time. And so when I got to Singapore, and then I got really sick and got like my body forced me to stop, you see. So it said, okay, you're going to get this disease. You're just going to stay in the hospital for 7 days or 8 days, can't remember. And I'm going to peel your children away from you because they can't stay at the hospital, obviously. So then that happened to me. My cousin at the time, my cousin is still my cousin. My cousin's still my cousin. She came to visit me. She was going through stage 4 breast cancer. But she came to the hospital to see me, and she was telling me all these things about how she's going through this healing process, not just for her cancer, but also all the stuff that happened to her when she was a kid. Like, because, I'm Chinese, like I said, and we have lots of things that we don't talk about. There's lots of like, you stuff your feelings down, you don't talk about your feelings, and you just keep working hard and like become a slave. So that's the kind of childhood we had. And so she's telling me all these things, and she's saying, I'm going to get you a Reiki healer. And she's going to come here to the hospital bed, and she's going to do her magic. And at that point, I was like, a Reiki healer? What the hell is that? and like, I've done yoga, I've done my meditation when I was younger, but I was like, Reiki? Are you kidding me? But then at the point, you're sick, you're just there, and you just sort of like, what does it hurt? Yeah. So this lady came, this Chinese lady, and she was just like, oh, you just lie there, and I'm just going to sit here with you, and I'm just going to be moving my hands all around your body. Like, just relax and breathe. And then I was like, okay. So I laid there, and then she did that for like a good 25, 30 minutes. I was like, what the fuck? Nothing's happening. Like, this is bullshit. And then, but I was like, never mind, keep in mind, you're already sick, you're lying here, you can't go anywhere anyway, you're hooked up to all the IVs. So you're like, I can't run. And so she did this thing, and then after a while, she just came to my ear, and then she just whispered, she goes, just let it go. And in that moment, I don't know what came over me. Yeah. I burst into tears. And like, I was coughing. I was breathing harder and harder. And I wasn't like faking it, because I was just like, oh my God, I feel like I need to breathe. And I was breathing. And next thing when she said that, I burst into tears. And then after I burst into tears, I had this like flushed face. Yeah. Or like, I looked like I had makeup on. And also because of my blood rash that I had in my body, the nurses would come in and they'd be like, are you okay? How come your face so red? And I'm in Singapore, so they talk like that. How come your face so red? And I was like, what? No, I'm actually feeling like the best that I've ever felt in my entire life. Like, I was 30-ish, in my early 30s at that point. And I was like, I feel so good. I feel like something is released from my throat. And then she then gave me a debrief to this Reiki healer, and she said, you're very blocked up in your throat chakra. There's lots of things that you haven't spoken about in your entire life, and there's lots of issues with your solar plexus. And I was having a gut issue at that point. Yeah. So like, I know it's getting very woo-woo. I know I'm a scientist, but like, we like woo-woo.
I love that you're me. Yeah, but I love science and I love woo-woo.
Yeah, I tell you, both of these things need to work together, and everybody will be healthier. So that sort of put me on this journey where I started to learn about generational trauma, started to learn about like all the stuff that has been happening to me since my childhood, and it kind of just like opened my eyes. And in that period of when I got out of the hospital, my kids have already come back to Perth and with my husband, and I was there by myself. I went to see a psychic, and then I don't tell this to many people because people, they look at you funny when you tell them. I saw a psychic, and then the psychic told me all these things. They'd be like, the psychic is lying lah.
Be like, I believe,
but I believe because the psychic said so much. And then I'm very good at not saying things. Yes. So I went in there and I was like, so tell me, what do you want me to know? And I gave her nothing.
Yep. That would be me when I first ever saw her. I was like, you tell me, mate, you're the psychic.
Exactly.
Go on.
And she was this American lady, actually. Like, she lived out of her apartment near where my brother was living at that time. And she has like this beautiful white hair, but in a bob. Like, she's like one of those cool ladies that you see in the movies. And I remember her telling me this. She's like, I'm not feeling too well at the moment. I'm just having the sniffles. And you know what makes it the best? Apricot jam. She said it in an American accent. Whenever you're sick, just have apricot jam. I'm like, I'm here to
have a rating.
I'm here to like get you to tell me about what I should do in my life. Why are you telling me about apricot jam? But anyway, it's actually good advice, because nowadays when I'm sick, I always
now you have apricot jam.
She's in my head.
Apricot jam.
It's been how many years? I still think about apricot jam when I'm sick. I'm like, on toast, yeah. Yeah, so she told me a lot of stuff at that point, and I was like, oh, okay. And it just set me on this journey, and then I started, for some reason, because Instagram's very clever, social media knows what you're looking for. Yes. I started to see all these things, and then the holistic psychologist on Instagram popped up, and she was talking about all this generational trauma, how you grow up and then you have no memories of your childhood because your brain is protecting yourself. And then I started thinking about my childhood. I was like, oh, what's so bad about my childhood? Like, seriously, I was clothed. I had a roof over my head. Both my parents worked really hard. But the one thing that really stuck out for me was that I grew up in a family, not so much my immediate family, more so like the extended family as well, that are very, very angry people. Yeah. The emotions are there's not much emotions. Usually when you see them, it's anger. Everyone is just like, and I'm from, my family is from an area in my grandparents were area in China where when they're talking, it sounds like they're fighting and shouting.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that anyway. But like where I grew up, there's really a lot of anger. And my mother was a very hardworking woman, and she was trying to show that she's as good as the boys in her life, her brothers. So she was always very stressed out. And so when she came home, we often had weekends where we're just like waiting for her to explode.
Yes. Okay.
So my childhood, when I say I don't have memories, because I now know it's because that we were always anticipating, fearing, oh, she's going to get angry, better do, we're always in flight or flight. Now they say that. So because you're in that flight or flight situation, you don't retain a lot of things.
Yes.
So I look back on childhood photos and I'm like, oh, actually we went to all these places, but I don't remember. I know it's sad. Like I don't remember the fun things that we do.
Yeah, because you're always in a state of fear.
A state of fear because you think, oh man, someone's gonna get angry, you better do this, and then she really does get angry, and then you go like,
yep.
And in knowing that as well, I noticed that I was doing that to my kids, especially my first one.
Yes, because we don't know any better.
We don't know any better. But then now that I know better, I'm like, man, do
But
better.
I was just about to say, like, how many of us lose our crap on a daily at our kids? Like, we just explode sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's what I was about to say. Like, what was your mum getting annoyed over? Was it just like you guys were untidy or, she had to clean up, or was it things like that? Because I swear to God, I do that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of know why she did that at that time, because now my children are doing the same thing, because children don't see these things, but adults see all of that. This is the mess. Nobody's cleaning up. And so I know why she was that way, because like I have so many days where I am that way. But it really hit me one time when I was like about to lose my shit. And I saw my eldest, his shoulders just went.
He tensed up.
And I just went like, oh my God.
But you lived like that almost.
And I had no realization. And then I think my mom at the point, even to this day, she probably didn't have that realization that we have that trigger where we go like and freeze and like, oh man, better be on best behavior. How do you
think that actually affected you as an adult? So growing up in the environment where you were more so always in a state of fear and that you almost had like you were trying to people please in a way, like you were trying to please your mum and dad and be good and not like trigger your mum to be explosive.
Yeah.
How do you feel like it sent you as an adult? Like how did it affect you?
I think I was always trying to do the right thing, like always, to the point where like even as a young adult, I don't remember myself having like lots of fun, because like also growing up in Singapore, you kind of like molded to become like a producer of outcomes. Like you got an objective, you get it done. You got an objective, you get it done. And in a way, that is, as much as it was self-limiting for a bit, it is also like a positive thing for me, because I swear if I didn't have that instilled into me, I wouldn't have finished my PhD.
Yeah, so there's positives that happened.
Yeah.
But also things that you would have liked to have changed.
Yeah. Like I wish I would have had more fun when I was at uni here, got to know more people on a deeper level. Whereas I've always thought, nobody wants to know me. Like who cares? I'm just this Asian.
But you're probably so focused on the end game, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to get it done.
That's right.
Yeah, and so I don't think I'm a people pleaser in the sense that I would want to make people like me, but like if somebody asks me to do something for them, I will get it done. So I'm not the sort where I'll
you were outcome driven.
Yeah. And I'm still very much outcome driven to this day, but again, I'm trying to like do less of that. I'm trying to.
But I've got a question. Like, even though you moved to Australia on your own, was there still that you needed to please your parents by coming here, finishing your PhD?
Yeah.
Like, was that in the back of your head?
Yeah.
That you needed to get that done so that you had like a certain status to them, I guess? Like,
yeah, I think so.
I feel like a lot of cultures,
Ethnics,
they have that. Like, yeah.
I think I remember thinking to myself, oh, I got to do this PhD because a sports science degree can only get you so far. So then I was like, I need to become an expert at something. And I loved pregnant people and loved because like 10 years ago, the notion of exercising when you're pregnant is still like a no-no. Like, when you're pregnant, don't move.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it's changed so much now, which is great. And so I was really excited when I got that research study to study that. But also I just wanted to show my parents, because I was the youngest, right? I was always more so of the rebel. Like my brother and my sister, they are got two in front of me, and they are usually the ones that will listen to whatever my parents say. And they would act that way. But I'm the
baby.
The baby. And I have a third kid right now, and I think I know why third kids are like that. He's a bit of my third is a bit of a psycho. But I love him. But he's just more free-spirited, which is what I think I was probably like. And so when I finished my degree, I was thinking to myself, oh, I don't really want to go back to Australia. I mean, go back to Singapore. I'm going to stay here. I got a job. But even though I got a job and I was paying my own bills and things like that, my parents thought I was like having fun here. I was like, I'm trying to build a life for myself. But they thought, come home now, stop playing.
Yep.
Can you stop doing that? You come home, I buy you a car. I was like, I don't want a car. No, and I want to say this, in Singapore, if someone wants to buy you a car, it's a big deal, because you don't just pay for the car, you pay for the certificate that says you can own a car, which is often more expensive than the car.
Wow.
So they were trying to they wanted you to come home.
Yeah, but I was like, nope, I'm going to build a life here.
Yeah. And you wanted to do it on your terms then.
Yeah, I just needed that space, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what did your brother and sister do? Like, what did their occupation end up being? Like, is one a doctor and one something?
No, my sister is an engineer as well. She works with my dad right now. My brother, he runs a very successful kids clothing business with my sister-in-law.
Wow.
Yeah, in Singapore, they're La Petite Society. Like, they're everywhere. Like, they're pretty cool. Online business.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
Yeah, so
I get curious like that.
No, you need to know. I was like, what else do you do? So that's a lot.
yeah.
You have done a lot. And how old are you now? You're the same age as us? Like,
Yeah, I'm the same age as you guys. I was like, listening to you.
39, baby.
Yeah, we're under 40.
But you've done so much. I mean, it's quite amazing.
But you see, when you say that, I feel very uncomfortable.
I'm going to make you more uncomfortable. She's done a lot and she needs to be proud.
It's very hard for me to be proud of what I've done. Like, it took me so long to learn to like, hey, MJ, you actually did pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, even when I say that, I feel that.
I said this to Rose before you came in. I was like, to get a PhD, you need to be smart.
Yeah, I said.
I ain't that kind of smart.
Yeah, and she's feeling uncomfortable now. You should see her, mate. She
Like,
looks
you're
like
smart.
she's about to take a jacket off. She's getting weird. She'd rather us talk about anything else now.
Yeah.
Like, and also we discussed that when you first started it, like, you fell pregnant.
Yeah,
I did. Oh, that's a story we're going to jump into. So.
that's it. So you started a PhD
Yeah.
that was going to involve pregnant women,
Yep.
Crystal.
Not pregnant mice.
Not pregnant mice.
But no, pregnant women, and you actually fell pregnant
I did.
before, well, just as you were starting the PhD.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
How did this happen?
Well,
She was exercising.
You were doing different type of
I was
exercise?
exercising with my husband.
Accidentally fell.
See, at that point, I wasn't very good at tracking my own cycle. Silly. Anyway, that gets you into trouble. That's why you need to know your cycle.
Wait,
ladies.
were you surprised then? So it wasn't like,
it wasn't
whoops.
planned, because my husband and I were like, oh, we're just gonna get married. We were only 6 months married, and then we were like, I want to do my PhD for a bit before we start getting pregnant, because there's also like the maternity scholarship that will come in after you've been in your PhD for 12 months. So obviously my son had a different idea. He's like, ooh, mommy, I'm gonna
Popping on in.
yeah, I want out sooner than that. So then he came along a bit earlier. So then I did my PhD for a bit. Actually, I should start at the start. I went into the office that day, and I was like, first meeting with the supervisor, and I was like, oh shit, I have to tell her this, because I feel like I should. But although at that point I was pretty young. I got pregnant when I was 26, 25. 26. I can't remember. But around that time. And I thought to myself, I wasn't like really aware that you only tell people you're pregnant when you're at least 12 weeks pregnant. I was just like, oh my God, I'm pregnant. I'm 7 weeks pregnant. I'm pregnant. And then I went in there, I was telling her, oh yeah, I'm pregnant. Then she was like, oh, are you 3 months into it? I was like, no, I'm only 7 weeks.
She's like, wow, she's keen.
She's just so excited.
And then I was like, oh. And then I learned later on, because I started working with pregnant people, right? You don't tell people that so soon because you never know what will happen to the pregnancy until 12 weeks. So anyway, I told her that, and then I thought she was going to ask me to like get out of the room. You're not doing this project anymore. We need somebody like in it,
committed.
And then, but she wasn't. She was really nice. She was like, "That's okay. We'll support you as much as we can and get you going." And I was like, "Oh my god."
It's refreshing to see and hear that, especially from another woman.
Yeah.
And I love that it's changing.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I do wonder if it was a man boss, if it would have been handled differently. I don't know.
It probably would have been.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because there was also man bosses on the panel that the people that I worked with, and it's a bit different. But we won't go there.
That is another. We could go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, and so much to talk about that. Yeah, but we won't. So then I went in there, and then got told I was pregnant. But then I went on and I did the research for. As long as my baby would stay in there, I did the research, and then I went off for maternity for a bit and then came back and sort of juggled motherhood and PhD, which I do not recommend anybody do. Yeah. You know how sometimes when people start having babies, they're like, "Oh, I'm going to start a business. Oh, I'm going to go study. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that." Actually, you know, ladies, when you have a baby, you should just focus on the baby because it's going to suck your life out of you. And really, there's not much capacity left when you have to keep a human
you
being
kind of
alive.
lose a few brain cells, don't you?
More than that, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I like, since you mentioned capacity,
Yes.
your thing is capacity.
Yes.
Can you explain that? What is my capacity? Like cup, as in like CUP, my capacity. And apparently, from what I've seen you talk about, is we all have a different sized cup.
Yes, we all have a different size cup.
Yes, we do.
I got a fairly large one.
Yeah, mine's a bit deflated, but it is a large cup.
Yeah, mine is a pancake. 'Cause, like I started out with not much anyway, and breastfeeding has.
Yeah, we can
gone.
all relate.
Yeah. So capacity. It's not a spelling error because a lot of people are like, "What? Did she spell wrong? She has a PhD. She cannot spell." But no, it was on purpose because you always hear people talk about, "Oh, mothers have to fill your cups first before you can look after other people." So then I was like playing on that twist about that cup, and then obviously some people didn't get it and asked me if I could spell, but I can.
She's a doctor, guy.
I think it's clever.
I like it.
Yeah, because I work with mothers, you see. So then I'm like, talk about your cup. So everybody has a different capacity because it depends. It comes down to like how much support you have in your motherhood. Do you work full time? Do you mother full time? Do you and whatever you do in your version of your motherhood is hard, regardless. But so some women, because if they have more support, they have their spouse's parents are here, their own parents are here around them. They can go like, "Oh, can you help me out with my kids for a bit? I want to work on this passion project that I have." And so that feels a lot easier in that sense. Then their capacity is slightly larger because they can share the load of this parenting job with other people. Like there's people who love the children there. But in my case, because my in-laws are from Thailand, my parents are in Singapore, there isn't really a lot of people I can call on. And even when you do have a few good friends, that I have that thing where I must do everything by myself, which stems from my childhood again. Yeah. And you feel like I cannot trouble people. Don't trouble other people, So then you don't ask for help. So you just try and do everything by myself. And when I first started my business, running Active Mama Tribe, I did everything by myself. And I was like, but I still also want to keep my children close to me. No, nobody is good enough to look after them. Only me. And then, but I also wanted to run my business. And then after a while, you go like, how come my business is not like skyrocketing, even though I have so much passion for it? And how come I feel like I'm always screaming at my children?
Yeah.
And that's like when I had the two kids, I often also feel like I don't remember much of my daughter's childhood. That's another sad thing that I haven't had another talk to go to and share that story. But I often feel because I was in the thick of developing my business, I don't remember much of her as a baby and like as a toddler.
How old is she now?
She's 8.
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So my first two, I've got 4 kids, as you know. I've got 2 older kids and 2 younger kids, and I was 23 when I had my first.
Yeah.
I worked so much. I come from an ethnic background, so I'm very much like nodding along here in the sense of I must do everything by myself because I'm a proud person and I had too much ego. And also I wanted to show my family how capable I am. I'm the oldest female in a majority male-dominated, all my brothers and my cousins are boys. everything like that. But also I totally agree because I also don't want to trouble people. I was brought up with parents that you do it by yourself. Don't burden other people with your problems. Don't burden other people with your kids. And so it's easy to burn out. And I can very much relate to that. And I don't remember much of my daughters, both of them, growing up. I don't remember them. I don't even think I saw them walk for the first time. I missed out on so many milestones and I have a lot of guilt over that.
Same.
Because you don't get that back. But when you look at it now, because I've got the other two that are the younger two, I think, oh my God, you have so much time to make money. You have so much time to go back to work full time if you want to. But at the moment, I actually do want to watch them grow up. And that's a choice. That's a personal choice for me. I've got nothing against mums that want to go back to work full time. I've been there. I get it. And sometimes it's a necessity. But I'm in a position now where I'm like, no, I actually want to watch that because I miss it.
But do you think that's because of the older two? That's how come you've got to this spot?
I think it's easier for me to see now, for sure. Like I'm sitting back and I'm in a very privileged position in that sense of saying I've actually had two older ones and made those mistakes. And now I've got two younger ones and do I want to repeat those mistakes? I've got the opportunity to change things. So without having the older two, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
But I did always regret it. Even without having the last two, I do remember going, oh my God, I missed so much. But for what? For what?
Well, I was like, I'm going to own my own business and I'm going to have so much flexibility to be a mum, except for owning my own business. I had no time.
Yeah, exactly.
I should have gone and worked for somebody. At least I might have had a day off.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's something that you only realize after you've gone through it. Because like people go, oh, yeah, I'm my own business. I'm my own boss. I'm flexible with my time. But like you said, you are flexible with the time, but it is also extremely time consuming, and it consumes your mind. And in that stage, you're learning about social media. You're learning about running, websites and things, and learning how to sell. Like that was my big thing when I started the business. Like I have a PhD. People go, "Oh, she got PhD. She's a smart lady." But I did not know how to run a business. Like you need a degree for that. That's why people do that as well, right? Or people
It's a whole nother ballgame.
It's a whole nother ballgame. How do you sell yourself? Holy shit!
And also selling yourself takes like a lot of guts, right? Because you're like promoting yourself.
Yeah, you have to practice. And now my skin is so thick. You can say anything to me. I don't care.
But at first,
you'll be like.
Every knockback hurts. But that brings me to another question is, do you feel like mums at the moment in this day and age, in our age group, our demographic, have a huge amount more pressure on us?
Oh, so much more.
Because of social media, because of it's almost like the era of the woman can do it all, which I love that we're in our empowerment era. Yeah. But almost do you see that a lot in women?
I see that a lot, and I wish to become the voice that tells women and moms out there that you don't have to do so much.
Well, that's
there
the
is
voice
pressure
I wanna hear.
There is a lot of pressure.
There is a lot of pressure
because we want to also be the breadwinners.
Yeah.
There's none of this why do our husbands have to? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
No.
I'm like, why does the man have to be the one that always earns more money? Why can't the woman earn more money? But it does come with sacrifices, right?
It does. And I think it's not so much being the breadwinner. For me, it's just being financially independent.
Yes.
I want to be able to go to the shops and I'm like, oh, I like that dress and I'll buy that dress. Oh, I want that. And I'll buy it. And I won't feel like I have to ask my husband, is it okay for me to spend this money? Because I just want to, because before I got this new job at the university, I was like, I can't buy that. If I spend that, I feel bad spending my husband's hard-earned money getting something that's nice. But now I'm like, yeah.
I just had this conversation with my sister on the way here because DeCuba have 20% off sale right now. Ooh. So I went to town last night. I bought 5 more pairs of those jeans I already got. And I told my sister, just go and buy it. She's like, no, I can't.
Yeah.
And I was like, why? It's that thing where just like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. There's so many different levels of pressure. And do you find that when you are in your business that's what people are women are coming to you with burnout?
Yeah, they are. Or just the struggles of motherhood. And then because I work with women from like having their first child and like in the not sleeping stage to like women who have already have a lot of kids in their life and they're just trying to find their health amongst all of it. And then I feel like in the current fitness industry or the health industry, people always make you just have to do your exercise. Make sure you drink your water, eat your proteins, and then you're just telling people to do more and more and more. Whereas us mothers, there's already too much in our fucking cup. We can't. I actually can't. So when people work with me, I always ask them, what is one thing you can give up before you start working with me? Because you have to give up something first.
Yeah, there's always sacrifice. Love that.
You have to let something go first. Like something that really doesn't make you feel like, it's something that you don't go like, yeah, I'm going to do this today. Something is just like, oh man, I have to do this. Then let go of that thing. And then work on your health. You need to
What
create.
is that for you? Like if you had to give up something, what would it be?
I love that. Nothing, because I want to do it all still.
Yeah, that's me. I'm like, I can't. What do I give up?
This is what I think is really interesting and I think people are going to get a lot from is what you've just said here and it's something that rings true in my head every time. I saw something a long while ago and it always sticks in my head. Every time you say yes to an opportunity, you say no to something else.
Yeah.
Now, while that's a beautiful thing, saying yes to opportunities all the time, you need to actually consider what are you saying no to when you say yes to that thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you do have to give something up. Something's got to give if you want to fit it all in.
Yeah.
And that's something I've always struggled with. I take on and take on and take on. Crystal's the same.
We are all the same.
But then, yeah, I know. See, I know you're the same because I listen to you speak. But then what do we need to give up?
Yeah.
To be able to fit in something that's important. For me, I struggle to look after myself, MJ. I struggle to eat properly, to feed myself. The last thing on my mind is actually cooking myself a nutritious meal. I don't eat shit, don't get me wrong. But it seems like the least important thing in my day because it takes two.
Is worrying about what you're going to eat.
Yeah, because and my health suffers for that. So I love that you've mentioned what are you going to give up before you start concentrating on working with you and working on your health. What is it? Like,
yeah, because I don't have that answer. If you ask me what am I giving, I have no idea.
What are some like easy ideas? What are things that we could give up, for example?
Well, I always take my clients through this thing. Like those people who are suffering to like let some not suffering, struggling. They're struggling to find out what to let go. I have this like it's just a list. You list out everything that you are doing right now in your entire life, like every down to like dropping kids off and like all those kind of stuff that you have to do in your daily life. And then basically I get them to rate it. It's very simple. It's either you put a smiley face or you put like a sad face emoji. Okay, so you go through the list and then you're like, oh yeah, this one makes me smile, this one makes me smile, this one makes me smile, this one, no, it doesn't really make me smile that much. And then you just go through the entire list. And then at the end of it, you'll have this list where you have lots of smiles and lots of like, so then you focus in on all those that make you go like sad face.
Everything that's not bringing you joy.
That's not bringing you joy, that's making you, oh man, I have to do this, damn. And then you go through the list. Everyone has a different list, obviously. You go through that list and then see on that list, is there anything I can delegate out to someone else? Like if you hate doing laundry, can I get someone to wash my... I mean, obviously it comes down to income and whether you can afford it as well. But obviously going through that list, you can see there are certain things on like there's this group of people that you don't really want to talk to a lot all the time, but you feel like obligated to keep up this friendship. But then is it really bringing you joy?
Is it taking time away from you?
Is it taking time away from you actually honoring your own body and doing the right thing for you? And if that answer is yes, then you have to quietly just say, start saying no.
Away from it.
Because a lot of women can't say no, and like I'm a lone wolf, right? So all these social stuff, sometimes I'm like, oh, actually, sorry, I'm not feeling well. Or sometimes I use my kids. I'm like, oh, my kid's not feeling well, but actually my kids are fine. I'm telling you the truth.
I love it. I love
honesty.
that.
This is my honesty. So sometimes because like
I think we've all done it.
Yeah, and I think it's healthy. It's creating healthier habits.
Yeah,
and I think even financial aside, I haven't always been in a really great financial position. I know when I was 23 when I had my first kid, and 24 or 25, that was a lot. So I think even if you don't have finances to go, I'm going to get someone else to do my laundry, there are things
That
like
you can let go.
you can let go of. Like, I think for me and my girlfriend got together at one stage when we were like working on our fitness, and instead of meal prepping alone, we both went grocery shopping and we brought the same things, just double of everything. And we had a meal prep day together.
Yeah.
And we cooked together all day, and then we divided the meals between us, so we all had heaps of different food.
Yeah.
We had a great, fulfilling day together as friends.
Yeah.
We shared the workload. I didn't have to pay anything or anyone else.
Yeah.
And I had fresh prep meals.
Yeah.
That
That's a
came
great
out of
idea.
a really great day.
Yeah.
But it meant sacrificing 8 hours, but it didn't cost me anything extra. And you just reminded me of that. I was like, it didn't cost me anything extra, but it brought me joy. I got to hang out with my friend.
Yeah.
We cooked 2 sets of, like, we did double the cooking, and we also cooked everything that was super healthy
Yeah.
and meal prepped, because we both had partners that worked FIFO.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't always have to be financial either.
Absolutely. And I like that you said that, because I think often in our day and age, we feel like motherhood is so lonely.
Yeah.
Like, people all do it themselves. But if you can really be lucky enough, like the two of you found each other and you've got that, bond, then you can lean into each other. But I feel like maybe especially in Western Australia as well, like because we're all so spaced apart, a lot of people are doing it by themselves and we don't lean into each other. So when I had the Active Mama Tribe going, more than just exercise, it was also like a community. And women would lean into each other. And when women lean into each other, you see this just amazing joy that just fills us through, and everyone's helping each other. And then, like, eating healthy becomes less hard because everyone's doing it together. You bake this, you bake this, you make this, and then we all share, so that everyone's just doing one thing, but then we all have variety, that kind of thing. So I think that is like an excellent example of like how you can be healthy but not have to like fork out lots and lots of money to be healthy.
Yeah, and also community and friendships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I remember having my first kids, I was quite lonely. I didn't join a mother's group. I was working full time, and I think having those friendships really do help you in motherhood and help you get back on track.
Yeah.
That's how I did get fit and healthy after I had the first 2.
Did you feel though like your friendship group around you didn't have kids the same time as you?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the same with me.
Same, me too. When I had my first, all my friends were still like,
Young,
partying, single.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And like doing your PhD as the only person with a baby, that's really hard. You feel like you can't network. I've always felt like my PhD, I'm going to say this out loud.
Say it.
I always felt like my PhD is like lesser than the other person who was doing their PhD, who could focus on their PhD, because mine, while I loved doing what I did, my mind was still with my kid all the time.
Yeah.
And I gave up opportunities because I was like, no, my son needs me.
Yeah.
So I gave up lots. So I always have this thing where I go like, oh man, my PhD is different from, because like this person did their PhD, they went to Europe and presented their study, and like I went to Melbourne. I mean, it's not that it's a bad thing, but I still did it. But then you feel, in your own head, you have this level and you're going like, oh man, it's not as good as other people. But fundamentally, I've learned over the years to recognize, actually, I've gained skills. And I probably have skills that somebody who did PhD without having children.
I think the fact that you did it while having a kid, jeebus.
Oh my God.
But I also love that you admitted it.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be there's so many parents, there's so many mums that want to go back to uni or want to start uni. And there's so many like mums or mums to be that will look at you now and go, it's possible. Because it is possible. But, I don't think it's hard sometimes to appreciate yourself, isn't it?
It is. It is. And I feel like I'm the person I am because I went through that struggle, and I don't want anyone to not go through struggle because that's how we grow. But at the same time, having gone through the struggle, I sometimes want to be like the big mama bear and go like, don't do that to yourself. Don't, because you have time. Like, and like you said at the start, we often, when we first have the first child, you go like, oh my God, when am I going to get back into the workforce? When am I going to start earning money for myself again? When am I going to, and then but then as your kids grow up, you realize, actually, I have a whole like 20, 30 years, 40 years ahead of me to go back to work when they are a bit more grown up.
Yeah.
Because even I say, like, I regret not traveling anywhere prior to kids, because now, obviously, 2 kids, everything's double the cost. I've got to have a bigger room, more flights. Like, I always regret it. But then I'm like, oh, well, actually, maybe I'll just travel with them when they're a bit older.
Yeah.
Or when they're older, you can travel without them.
Yeah.
Knowing
it's
they're
your
fine.
mind, how you think, I guess. Like, anything is possible.
Anything is possible. And you know, the thing that you just said about traveling alone. Okay, I wanted to share this, and this is like the perfect place to share this. So, you know how women and mothers always like, oh, I've lost myself in motherhood. I don't remember who I am anymore. And I often feel like that because I feel like my brain is just not the same anymore. And then recently, a couple of weeks ago, I went to Sydney. For the first time ever, I left my kids for a trip that's fun. Like, I'm not going to any hospitals. I'm just going to Sydney for myself because I was doing my meditation teacher training course thing, which I've now completed. So I'm certified.
Congratulations.
So I went there and I was all alone. My kids are at home. My dear husband was looking after all of them. And I was like, I have a weekend. Actually, not a weekend. 2.5 days. 2 days. 2 days by myself. And I went there and I was like, I booked myself this really nice little place, just one single bed. And I went to eat all this food. And then in that moment, I realized it's not that we've lost ourselves when we become mothers. It's just that we are buried. We're buried under so much of other people's shit. You know, you're like
layers on top of you.
Yeah. And you think you lost yourself, but you're not lost. You're still there, you know, because when I wasn't there, with my kids were not around me, like, oh, I could think, hey, actually my brain still works quite fast. But because at home, everyone is talking to you. Oh my God, like, mommy. And you go like, I can't make up my mind about what I want to buy, or like, I can't decide what I'm going to cook for dinner. And then you think, oh, what's wrong with my brain? There's nothing wrong with your brain. You're just
too many layers.
There's just too many layers. You're just buried. You're going like, the more children you have, like the deeper you go underground.
I'm buried. I'm a seed.
But this is why. So this weekend, me and Rose, are staying at the Westin in Perth.
Just a night.
Mummy vacay. It's only 24 hours, but I'm telling you now, we're going to get wild. We're not going to care about being a mum. We're going to have fun. We're going to take a bath. We're going to do the things.
We're going to eat on our own without being interrupted.
Oh my God, yes.
And they're just
it's a reminder,
small,
right? Like I feel like women, because I was having dinner with a friend last week and she was saying like as she's gotten older, she's realised she doesn't really have like her close friendship group.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was saying how important it is because our husbands, like as much as we love them, they don't want to hear our shit. Like, come on. They don't. They pretend to listen, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
So I think it's so important as women, like to keep those, you know, even if you've only got one friend or 5 friends, keep those relationships with your friends. Go and have like little staycations.
Yeah.
Just with your friend or like by yourself.
Oh my
God.
Or by myself. Ooh.
That is delicious.
I went down south last Wednesday on my own.
You were dying though, but yeah.
But I mean, I got sick, but when I came back, but I drove for 3 hours to get there. Oh, people were like, oh, such a long drive. I was like, it was fucking bliss. It was 3 hours of looking at the countryside and the cows.
No kids' songs on the iPad playing.
No one talked to me. And then I got put up in this beautiful little, like not, I don't know
like
what
it was a cottage, right?
It was a
like
cottage. By myself.
Oh my God.
It was bliss. I walked in, I was like, I can't hear anything. Oh my God.
You'd be like, walk in the door and I'm having an orgasm because I'm on
Yeah.
my own.
It was so good. And
man.
it was for the soul. Like I went and had a coffee by myself and it was like, oh, did you feel like weird, lonely by yourself? I said, no. I couldn't have thought of anything better than silence, a book, a glass of red wine. And then, of course, you know, because I let my guard down and I relaxed, I got so sick. I got the sickest I've ever been in my life on the way home.
Man.
But
It was like life was like zeros.
They were like
Slap in the
you
face.
fucking idiot. You haven't rested all this time and you decided now's the
She
point.
hit burnout.
I hit burnout. So, yeah. But, yeah.
But I think it's also important because there will be some women out there listening and then you'll be like, oh, these 3 mothers, how can they just leave their children? How can I can never leave my children. I tell you, if you met me 12 years ago, my oldest is 12. If you met me 12 years ago, I'm that woman. I'm you right now thinking like, how can these women leave their children? Oh my God. I tell you, parenthood will do this to you. After you've been in it long enough, you'll be like, no, actually, I'm going to tell every single new mother out there, you need to learn
To step
away and have space for yourself, because it will make you a better, happier, healthier woman if you are able to go, my child is going to survive if I'm not there for a few hours.
Yeah.
Even if you took a 5-day break to Bali, your kids, well, I mean, it depends who they're with, but they're not going to die. FaceTime them. You're not a bad parent.
And also when you are away, they realize, oh my God, actually, mommy's my best friend.
Yes.
Because when we are there all the time, it's like everybody knows this, but we don't realize it when we're in it. Like when you're away from them, they appreciate you more.
They do. And you miss them and you appreciate them and you see them, you're like, you're actually you feel like you've got more energy for them, genuine energy, because you genuinely miss them. But even though you might not have the family, the capacity, you might not have it in your capacity, guys, to, have someone to look after them. But even if you do it for 8 hours, not go to work, not for shopping as in groceries and chores, like spend 8 hours. Go on and get a cup of coffee. Just for you.
Have a date with yourself.
Have a date. Go see a movie by yourself.
Yeah.
Like, think of those things. And, like, even if you just pay for a babysitter for a couple of hours or have a friend, have a system where, like, she looks after your kids one day and you look after hers and just go.
Yeah. And again, there will be listeners going like, I don't really have anyone I can trust and I can't do this. I don't know how to make friends and things like that. Like, seriously, women, that's a skill that you have to pick up. Like for me, because I know that I'm such an introvert, like I do everything for myself.
Yeah.
I've sort of found ways around that, like exercising at home and things like that. And I didn't have to trouble anybody. But really, I feel like, how when you're pregnant and you go to all these classes, they're telling you these are the things you need to do when your baby grows up. I feel like as your baby's growing, I feel like there should be a class that tells women these are the skills you need to develop before you become a mother. If you are an introvert or you don't know how to make friends, you got to learn because it's going to make your motherhood a lot easier. As opposed, because I struggled because I couldn't make friends when I didn't go to a mother's group as well with my first, because I just felt like I just don't fit in, so I didn't want to do it. But when I did have more friends as mothers as well, it just made life a lot easier. And that's when you can have that increase your capacity to do things that is good for your health, and don't feel guilty about it. Like you said, go shopping, have a coffee, watch a movie. I'd be like, do exercise because you're putting, it's like an investment, and this is, we all have only one body, and if we don't put the investment in to look after the body.
She's drinking as she drinks a Red Bull.
I literally was thinking, do not judge me, what I'm putting in my body.
No. I don't judge people. That's not what I do. Yeah. Everybody does.
That's all right. I judge myself enough, so.
I think we all do. But I love this. This is where I want to go there, because you've got the 5 pillars.
Yes.
As a woman that can help us with our health.
Yeah.
And I do agree. I love to exercise. Like I go for community and I also go because it just makes me fucking feel better. Even if I go and I feel like shit before I get there, even if I go super slow, I always feel better
afterwards. Yeah.
But I feel like our health, our exercise, our weight, they're things that we judge ourselves a lot for, but we often don't know where to start. How do we get healthy? Tell us about the 5 pillars.
Okay, so my 5 pillars are pretty cool. So as we're all women here, so we need to understand our cycle, or whether you have a cycle or not, as in your menstrual cycle, whether you have it or not, you need to understand where you're at in it, or whether you are on contraceptive or you're just naturally having a period. So you need to know that, and then understand how you're feeling throughout a month. Because importantly, you know how in this day and age, we're always like, we have a 24-hour day, we sleep, we wake up, we're just going to, once we wake up, we should be feeling like amazing people and then just getting on with our day on repeat. But really, if you think about it, that is designed for the male physiology. Men, they work hard, they have a sleep, they wake up, they're fresh, and then they go again because their hormones are that way. We women have a menstrual cycle. Every month, we feel differently every single day. Just like every single pregnancy is different, every single day throughout your cycle, you're going to feel different. Yeah. And some days you are more equipped at like getting shit done. Some days you're more equipped at communicating with other people. Some days you just need to rest. And that's one thing that women don't do very well. When we rest,
I don't understand my cycle at all. Like I've had the implant on pretty much most of my life. most of my life I've had it. No jokes. Like I had a baby, took it out, put it back in. So I don't get a period at all. So last week I had a sore boob, right? And the lady who did the ultrasound was like, "Where are you in your cycle?" And I was like, "What the fuck? I have no idea."
This is why it's important. I've understood it a lot more in the last couple of years, but mainly because I know how much it affects the way that I exercise. So I love being strong and strength training. So there's different stages in your cycle that actually, so when you're on your period, you don't necessarily feel strong. There's not that testosterone. So, and you obviously, you're bleeding and you're going to feel weaker. There's different types of times in your cycle that you shouldn't necessarily be going for your heaviest lifts or your best time or your PBs.
Yeah.
So there's things in your cycle that are really important, but I think, Crystal, you need to sort that shit out. It's so important.
Yeah, I mean, this is my personal opinion. Like, going natural is the best. So obviously, people have various reasons for going on the synthetic hormone, and that everyone is allowed that choice. But the more we can not have synthetic hormones in our body, the more the body can naturally produce what it is made to produce. And then in that way, you start to have a better understanding of your body as well. And so, like you said about that cycle within every month, a lot of times women who live especially, they'll be like, oh, towards the second half of our cycle, before our period comes, where we have the PMS and all of that, that is the time where it's actually really tricky for the body to recover from strenuous exercise. And you will also feel like, oh, I just can't be as strong as I like to be. But that window of when you finished your period to before you ovulate, that's like the ultimate window. If you're trying to gain like more strength, that's where you hit it hard. I mean, obviously, this is just a textbook framework. Everybody feels differently every day, but that's essentially hormonally, that window is where you want to be, increasing your weight, pushing it harder then. And you also recover better in that period, because there's this lady, there's another researcher, is very famous. She always says women are not small men. So we are different. Like we work differently. Yeah. So when you're training, you have to train with the thought, or your exercise, you have to do that with the thought that my physiology is different from a man. And unfortunately, in research and in the fitness industry out there, a lot of people say, oh, you do certain things, is going to get you certain results. But all those results, all those evidence is based on men.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise. I mean, it is a lot easier to run research on men because they don't have the cycle where you track. Because in research, you have to keep as many things controlled as possible. When a woman has a cycle, we can't take their hormonal level all the time. So a lot of things are done on men, young, fit men.
Yet we birth the world.
We do birth
essentially.
The world.
Hey, what the hell? We do.
We do. So women birth all the people, and yet all the research is done on men. I recently did hear that only up, I don't know when this was, don't quote me, that period products, so tampons, pads, all of that, have never been tested with real blood.
What do you mean?
So all the products have always been in the labs, in the testing, they've always used a liquid.
Like that blue shit they pour. Yeah.
So they've never actually tested period products up until recently.
On period.
With periods.
What?
With real blood or consistencies that replicate a female lining shedding. Like, blow my mind, but that's a product that's made for a female.
That is put so close to our
bodies.
Special part.
Yet hasn't been tested appropriately. It doesn't even shock me. But yeah, it's stuff that is just so important, and it actually enrages me, MJ. Like, I get internal rage about this. I'm so passionate.
Why aren't they making little mice wear pads?
That's right. Why aren't why aren't we testing putting a little pad on?
Sorry, my brain. This is how my brain works. Do you see how my brain works?
Your brain.
I'm just like little mice wearing like pads on a treadmill.
I can't imagine a white mice getting a period. That'd be a bloodbath.
They would, right? Though.
Do they?
Do mice get periods? Yeah, of course.
I actually don't have an answer to that.
Okay, I'm going to Google that after because I've got problems. Okay, so we've got menstrual cycle.
Yes.
What are the next ones?
So pillar number 2 would be moderate exercise for building muscle, because we might not know this, but a lot of us, when we hit the age of 25, that's where physiologically a lot of things go downhill. You start to lose your muscle mass, like about 1% every year. Don't quote me. I might be wrong.
25?
From 25. So if you don't exercise, if you're somebody who always, you have a desk job, or you don't like exercising, or you haven't... We're laughing.
I don't like to exercise.
I'm going to lose it. Crystal's side-eyeing me. I'm like, oh, she fucked.
She's like, I don't like her anymore.
I carry my groceries to the car. I mean, from the car to the kitchen.
Well, that's still weights. That's still resistance.
yeah, and I
training.
carry 20 bags at a time. I ain't going to do laps.
Yeah. She's still working the muscles. She's
So,
working hard for the money.
Yeah, you like daily living stuff you're still doing. So,
Okay.
that's not so bad.
Tick.
But maybe you need to tick some more ticks. But anyway, coming back. And often it's not like, because like in this, like I said, I keep going back to the fitness industry because I have a vendetta against them.
That's okay.
Oh no, I'm going to lose a lot of friends.
It's okay. They're all run by men anyways, aren't they?
We do love men. It's not like we're not like 3 women sitting here hating on men. We're just talking about the society. Society. And so like we have this idea that you have to like work intensely and like make me feel like I'm dying in order to be healthy and gain muscle. But coming back to my capacity thing, sometimes if a woman is already very highly stressed in her life, children, husband, work, business, or lack of help in life, or like having emotional stuff going on, and then you're already feeling very stressed, because often people don't see that as stress, but that is the stress. And then you go to the gym or like a group fitness or CrossFit or whatever, and then you go and do those high intensity stuff. You're like, yeah, let's pump this weight, 10,000 burpees. And then after that, you kind of feel like, oh man, I feel like shit. And then go home and you yell at your kids.
So you've increased your stress.
You have actually increased your stress, because that, while it's a physiological stress, it is still a stress. And if you are a woman that is already like stressed, like to the limit, to your eyeballs, and you go and throw that into yourself, you're just going to burn out even faster. Because that was me like a couple of years ago. I was like, oh, I've got this new job. I don't want to run my business anymore. I went and got a job. So I went to teach. I don't run my business like that frequently anymore. That became like the side hustle. And then I was like, yeah, I got more free time now. I'm going to go join a CrossFit gym.
Oh, yeah, you're going to add the stress back in. That makes sense. Okay.
Because that's what I do. I was like, no.
I'd be the same.
No, because I was like, I have more time now. I'm not running my business. I'm just working for someone. I work for someone and I go home. I have more capacity also, I thought. But actually the job also has more stress, because it's like you're answering to people now. And then I go and do this CrossFit thing. And then I was like, how come I cannot recover from this exercise? Like, how come I feel like I'm always out of breath, or like I'm more tired than usual? And then I go like, oh my God, MJ, did you not realize this? You see, you have a PhD, but you don't know everything. You go, then they go like, I'm actually putting more stress on top of my stress and stress. That's why, even though I'm trying to exercise, I can't keep up with it. And that's the thing about doing it moderately, like my second pillar, moderate exercise for muscle building. If you do it moderately, you can keep going.
Okay, wait. Can you tell me what exercise I should be doing then?
So if you don't really like exercise,
No, I hate it.
you can find something that brings you joy. Like, do you like dancing?
Yes.
Okay, so then you want to try and find those sort of dance moves, or like those classes like Zumba and things like that, where you're doing squats in your dancing. So
I did find a sexy dance class.
Yes.
Remember that one I sent you? I want to do that. It's like literally sexy. You wear like sexy clethes and yeah.
See, that would be exercise that brings you joy, brings you community, and it doesn't feel like exercise.
Yeah, but then you feel sore the next day. Then you're like, oh yeah, I did something.
But you did
move.
Yeah,
I think I would enjoy that. Like when I was at like a CrossFit thing and they had to make me run down the road and back, I fucking swore the whole time.
Yeah,
it's like, bloody asshole, making me run down the road and then run back again, and I'm the last one, and then I'm like.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? I love that Crystal brought this up, because I love exercise. I'm a personal trainer by trade, I suppose, and have exercised my whole life. But for some people, it causes more stress. And the only thing I've ever said to people is exercise doesn't look the same for everyone.
Correct.
So do something you like and you'll keep doing it.
Correct. Because it's not that one session of CrossFit that you did that's going to change your health. It is the thing that you do consistently.
Yeah.
Consistency that you like and that makes you happy. I mean, get you a bit huff and puff. That's what you want to aim for. But the fact that if you can do it every week, a few times a week.
I was thinking of excuses to make up when I had to get up at 6 a.m. I was like, what excuse can I use now to not go?
Yeah. And not everyone loves it. Like, you don't have to love it.
Yeah.
You can, and people shun going for a walk, or what the hell is wrong with that?
That's the best exercise in the world.
Like, why do we have to make it so complicated? I swear we look at all the fitness gurus online and we look at coaches, and I feel like that's why also we were like attracted to you. I was so attracted to you. Because you're more realistic. You're not saying, okay, you have to be fit and healthy. You want that. Well, fucking bitch, make it happen. Get rid of your wine. Get rid of your butter, you lazy shit. You're not doing anything. You're actually finding really easy, tangible ways to add these things to your life and not making it another stress.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta enjoy it, man.
Yeah.
We only have one life.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And look, if you enjoy the weightlifting, obviously, that's you. That's great. And then keep going. But then it's for the person out there who is like, maybe you didn't have fit parents where you saw that taught you how to exercise, or like friends that exercise. You just need to understand anything that you do to move your body that gets your heart going, that makes you go, start talking like that a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of puff in there.
A little bit of puff in there. That's going to be good for your health.
Okay, so that's pillar 2.
Pillar 2. And then pillar 3 is my next favorite thing, because, I'm training to become a master chef, is joyful eating, joyful nutrition.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah. So like there's a lot of this all or nothing mindset in again the health and fitness industry, where you feel like you have to eat clean. If you don't eat clean all the time, then you are failing.
Yeah.
But it is not that way. You gotta enjoy the food, because that is what nourishes you. Food is not just fuel. A lot of people go, food is fuel, your calories, you put 10 calories in, you have to go and burn another 10 calories somewhere else. And you think that way, and everything becomes like this mathematical thing. But it doesn't have to be like that. What people need to work on, what women now need to work on, is understanding your satiety levels, like your hunger levels. When do you not feel hungry anymore, not to the point of fullness, just to the point where I'm not hungry anymore, I don't have to eat. But because a lot of us, like, again, it stands back a lot into childhood, where you're forced to finish whatever's on your plate. I think throughout any culture, people are like, don't waste food, you're going to finish whatever's on your plate. And so we've grown up like, even though we are already full, your mom and dad be like, finish it. And then over time, I mean, you think about it, when you get to an adult, you're like 25, you've been going through that where you just, I'm already full, but I have to finish whatever's on my plate. And 25 years of not honoring your hunger and satiety levels does shit to you.
But I think even as a parent, like as a child, eat whatever's on your plate, right?
Yeah.
Then I did it with my kids. If they didn't eat it, I ate it, because I was like, oh, it's wasting.
Yeah. So it spills over into you. And then that's why a lot of moms are like, oh, I just had a baby, I can't seem to lose this weight. Because like you also have cultural things and like habits that you've picked up over the lifetime, or mindsets where you go, I can't waste this food. My kid's not eating, I'm going to eat it. That's why I have chickens. Because when my kids don't eat my chickens,
feed it to them.
I gave it to my chickens. That's
a good idea.
People
I really
have
want chickens. Yeah,
I'm the chicken lady.
But wait, would you eat your chickens?
She would. I could see it in her face.
Would you kill it yourself?
MJ's got us. I like it.
She's a
Let
killer.
me share this with you.
She's killed one already.
I've killed 3
She did say that she was Chinese and she'd eat anything.
Although, I'm not some psychopath.
I love it. No, we were the same. My non.
I couldn't. I don't think I could. I think I would look at its eyeball and be like, oh no, I can't.
Oh my God, I just simply can't. My pet chicken was in the fridge. The feet.
Oh no!
I'll never forget it. My dad, I watched it. I was like, bye, friend.
Oh no!
Okay, so this is the thing, because you have chickens, and then they get broody, they want to become moms. You put eggs under them, and then they hatch little chicks, and then eventually not all of them are going to be female, right?
Yep.
And we live in metropolitan Perth. You can't have roosters. So in the past, I'll get this friend's mom or whoever come and help me get rid of the chicken, or I just give it to someone because I don't want to deal with killing them. And then this year we did our backyard. I got my chickens back, and then we had some chicks, and then out of the out of the 9, 4 of them were boys.
Did you eat it? Can you eat a boy chicken?
You can.
Oh, okay.
You can eat all chicken. So then I got my friend's hubby to come and do it because he's Papua New Guinean. He's like, he comes in with his axe and he's like, yeah, let me do this for you. And then he went,
he's like, I got you, MJ.
Yeah. He's like, I was like,
Watcha.
he did the watcha. And then it was like, and then I went like, oh my God, what just happened in my backyard? But then over time, I just sort of realized if I'm going to have chickens, I'm going to have to learn how to watcha them. Because otherwise I'm always having to call on this friend and call on that person or like give it away, and then I've been feeding this chicken already. I know what goes into this chicken. I really should learn to eat my own chicken. So I can still remember my son's face. I was like, okay kids, I'm gonna go outside, we're gonna kill this chicken. And then they're like, we don't want to be outside. So my friend's mom taught me this trick like way back, but I could never do it, but now I can. So you know how we have the milk bottle thingies, the milk bottle with like that holds our milk.
Yeah,
the milk bottle.
milk.
The handle.
Yeah.
The handle. So she taught me this thing. You cut off where the lid is. You cut that bit off, and then you cut off the base.
Yes.
And you put down the chicken's neck.
So it kind of becomes, I don't know.
It's
why
like a chicken. It traps the chicken.
It traps the chicken.
Is it a 3-liter milk?
Yeah, 3-liter one is better. Otherwise, the 2-liter one, you kind of have to cut the side so that the chicken will fit into it.
I never thought this podcast was going to go here, but we're going here. Teach me more.
I can't kill a chicken.
I will never kill it, but I like to know why we're using a milk bottle.
Okay, so you kind of like make that into the funnel so the head goes through there.
Oh no, I can't.
I feel like my reputation's at stake. And then you because once it's in there.
This is why she's got a PhD, guys. She knows how to kill a chicken.
I'm the PhD lady that likes to woo and likes to kill her own chickens. Okay, wait. I don't actually like to kill the chickens. I do feel every time before
You feel sad?
I do feel sad, and every time before I do it, I always thank them for. I always thank them for coming into our world and like eventually feeding my family.
Oh, I mean, that's kind of... No,
It's like I'm coming from Avatar. Like Avatar, we thank Mother Earth and we thank you for being a chicken. Thanks for feeding
I
me.
feel like I've just destroyed my reputation.
Okay,
Look, we all eat... Well, no,
Okay,
I'm not going to say we all eat meat, but I also don't put 2 and 2 together, right? So if I'm eating a chicken, I'm not thinking about the chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like chicken. So when it's in the milk bottle.
Okay.
She pokes the head through.
Okay, when the head's through, because like you, I can't look at the face.
But it holds them in place.
It holds them in place.
Without their wings.
Yeah, so it doesn't flap at you when you are doing
Okay.
the deed, when you're trying. So then I have a towel that goes over their head and I kind of stretch their neck.
Oh, so you suffocate, you
I
choke
don't,
them.
no, don't choke them.
Oh.
She's got a freaking... Then she gets her machete out.
Oh, wait, you cut the head?
I don't cut the head. Okay, so there's a difference. If you chop the head off, they go into this,
Yeah.
and then the meat becomes tougher. But if you... I'm gonna sound like a psychopath. If you slit their throats.
Oh my God.
We're talking...
I thought you were going to strangle it.
I can't do that. I just feel like, no, that's just wrong. So
Listen, she hasn't killed a lot. She's only killed 3.
only 3, and every time I feel really bad. Okay, so then you kind of have to bring the knife under the feather, because the feathers are actually very tough. They're like our nails, they're feathers.
Yeah.
So if you try and just cut through the feather, nothing's going to work. So you have to go under the feather and try and get to the skin, and then be quick. And I did it. I mean, it's actually surprising. I don't know how psychopaths do it, but it's actually surprisingly really hard to cut into
Flesh.
skin and flesh. And sometimes I feel bad because I have to like...
Yeah, because then you got to like pull out the feathers and stuff.
Yeah, that part is not so bad, because I think the hardest bit is like taking the life.
Taking their life forth. But you did it. I think it is important. Like, I think sometimes the fact that you need to know how it's done.
Yeah, and you do it humanely. It's not like I'm down there. I'm gonna kill you. I'm not doing. Thank you for being my food. Because the thing is, when you do drain their blood, let's put it that way. I don't want to use that word again. When you drain their blood, they kind of slowly go to sleep. You see, so they are calmer when they go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then they are.
My mum had a goat, and
Yeah.
somebody took it and they ate it for dinner.
Yeah. Yeah. Craig's done a lamb before, but he decided to show me a photo. He's like, there's our lamb. Yum, yum, yum. And I was like, huh?
Yeah.
But yeah, it is quite a process.
It is a process. Yeah.
But yeah, it's worth knowing sometimes where your food comes from, even though it it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I cried when my dad went fishing and he was like putting the fish in the bucket. I was like, let him go.
Are you judging?
Let him be free.
Are you judging me because I killed my
No,
own chicken?
I actually, but it was a hilarious story. So thank you for that. But you know where this all came from? Is that giving your scraps to the chicken.
Oh, that's where it started.
See, I was like, how the hell did we get here?
How did we get there?
This is what we do all the time. And this is also about just eating until we're full. This was the third pillar is joyful eating and joyful nutrition.
Correct.
That we can enjoy our food.
I'm glad you remember where we started because we went rogue.
I was like, why are we at killing chickens? And I had to remember. So they're joyful food and joyful eating, which I love because it's a better approach than sometimes too far one way or the other. Because I feel like there's this clean eating, don't eat any packaged food, don't have anything that comes out of a container, don't have any cereal. And I feel like it almost takes away everything from us. It's like, hold on, you want us to be less stressed, you want us to have more time, you want us to be happy, but then don't give your kids any processed foods, don't do this, don't do that, don't have that. Only clean eat, and now you're adding more stress in again.
Correct. There's more things to do to prepare stuff from scratch.
Yes.
And people don't realize it takes a lot of effort.
Are we not allowed to give ourselves a little bit of a break?
Yes.
But we still can eat well.
Yeah, you can. If you eat 80%, just go 80%. 20% of the time you can eat whatever you want.
Oh my God, I have to tell you about this person then. Love that I can't remember who they are. But on Instagram, there is this guy, and I love it. His whole slogan, he's done a great job marketing himself, is be consistently average.
Oh, love it.
He is like, I don't want you to be perfect every day. I don't want you to do anything but be consistently average. He goes, want to exercise 3 times a week? Just like an average person? Perfect. Because I want you to be consistently average. Want to eat like, every day you eat really well, but once a week you go out and get some takeaway and you might get yourself like, a couple of drinks and you love to have a drink. Great, but be consistently average with it.
Yeah.
He goes, you don't have to be, it's the all or nothing mentality that makes us fail. And then once we fail, then we're like, fuck this, I'm going to eat what I fucking want. But I love, it's stuck with me lately.
Yeah.
I just really like that mentality of being consistently average.
That's amazing. I love that.
I just wanted to share it with you.
I'm going to pick that up and tell it to all my people.
Yeah.
Let's just be average.
There's nothing wrong with being average.
There's nothing wrong with being average.
Oh my God.
Why do we have this idea that all of us have to be like some big shot, like
Society.
be number one?
We
Society.
are special. We're all special.
In our own way.
But it's okay to be average too.
Listen,
Yeah. Totally
I
agree.
thought that you were tested on mice, so
There we
Kinda
go.
special.
She is very special. Okay, so that was pillar 3. And okay, let's give us 4 and 5
Okay,
and then
4,
we'll
5, 3.
apologise to the people that are waiting outside because we know they're from the golf. They're the golf guys.
are they?
oopsie daisies.
Shizen.
Okay,
Love you guys.
So number 4 is about stress and nervous system management. So for a long time, I didn't know why I was always so high strung. And then I realized I'm constantly in the sympathetic nervous state. I'm always like on the go because I'm always thinking I'm going to die. Or like I have a stress that's coming towards me, even though there's no stress, but I don't know how to like let loose. So I saw a very amazing chiropractor for a bit, and she helped me and my daughter with our vagus nerve and how we can sort of reset everything. Because I grew up in that high strung family, fear and anger and angry state, right? So for me, the norm, my set point was always heightened. And I didn't know that until I learned about her. And so she helped me sort of bring that back down where I could go, I can bring my nervous system down. This is where you should be when you're relaxed. So learning where your nervous system is at is very important, where either you're always switched on and in that stress state or not, and how you can go through, seek help if you need, like from professionals to help you reset your nervous system so that you can tell a difference between rest and like when you need to like go.
Yeah, love that.
So that's pillar number 4. And then that one ties in very nicely with pillar number 5, which is to rest and recover. A lot of people, especially women in this day and age, we are always go. We don't know how to rest. And in fact, we feel guilty if we take rest because we go, oh my God, doing nothing.
That's her. If she's watching TV, she needs to be folding laundry at the exact same time.
I need to be productive at all times
Correct.
because I feel
understand.
lazy.
I understand that.
And lazy is the worst fucking thing that could ever happen to you, apparently, because I was brought up like that.
Where I'm like, no thanks, I'm being a blob. Thank you.
And I
bye.
love that. I need to take that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good good message. And honestly, we have actually loved having you here today. You've taught us a lot. We've learned about how to kill a chicken. We've learned about that you can have a PhD and still know nothing about life in the world, and that you've been so honest about that. That there's 5 pillars of health are so realistic. If you want to know more about Dr. MJ, the things she does, she shares really openly on her own socials. She coaches women. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram or Facebook if you just Google Dr_MJ_PhD and you will find me.
Okay, we will pop all of Dr. MJ's details in the show notes, all the ways that you can contact her, find her online. But we have absolutely loved having you on today. Thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely loved it.
And it's been so much fun, and we've had so many laughs. And we did learn
so good.
I love the mice. Like, I'm never going to get over the mice being pregnant on the treadmill. And in the meantime, guys, always take care of yourselves.
And take care of each other.
Bye.
Bye.